A dark night, the river stays silent, and then a faint yellow smiling face appears, floating above the water. A college student vanishes after a night of drinking. Police say it was just an accident, but near where the body was found, there was always the same drawing, a smiling face. Is that just a coincidence? There's something strange about these cases. The people who disappeared weren't random. Most were young college students, physically fit, active, and socially normal. Some were athletes, some were high-achieving students, and others were described as completely ordinary. There was no clear reason, no warning signs, just a normal night. After drinking, they step away for a moment, just a short distance. And that's when it happens. They disappear. No signs of a struggle, no evidence of panic. They're simply gone. And then, days later, sometimes weeks later, they are found in rivers. Even in busy urban areas, this pattern repeats. If this is just an accident, why do the circumstances look so similar? And why does it always happen when they're alone? This theory often traces back to one case, 1997, New York. Patrick McNeil, a 19-year-old student at Fordham University. That night he was out drinking with friends. Nothing unusual, nothing out of place. At some point, he steps outside alone. That was the last time anyone saw him. No signs of danger, no indication anything was wrong. And then he disappears. Search efforts begin. Days pass, then weeks. Nothing at all, no trace. Then, 2 months later, his body is found in the East River. Police conclude accidental drowning. He had been drinking and may have fallen into the water. It was the most logical explanation, but his family didn't accept it because no one could explain what happened in that moment when he vanished. That night, what really happened? This is where things start to feel off. In some cases, details don't fully match expectations. The condition of the bodies sometimes didn't align with how long they were believed to be in the water. In other cases, the distance between where the person disappeared and where they were found didn't seem natural. And then there's one of the most debated points: the water found in the lungs. In some reports, it was suggested that the composition of the water did not fully match the river itself. There have even been mentions of water consistent with treated sources, like tap water. If that interpretation were accurate, it raises a possibility that the victim entered the water somewhere else and was later moved. But this is not a confirmed conclusion. Experts disagree and conditions vary case by case. Still, the questions remain, not once, but repeatedly. So then, is this coincidence or something else? And then there's the detail that people remember most: the graffiti, a yellow smiling face, the smiley face, and sometimes words like cinnamon. These markings weren't found in just one place. They've been reported in multiple locations: New York, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Pennsylvania. Different places, but similar shapes, similar placement, often near rivers, in hidden areas, out of sight, and in some cases, near where victims were found. Because of that, some people believe this isn't random, that it could be a kind of signature, a mark left behind. But investigators disagree. They argue that graffiti like this is common, that it appears everywhere, and that connecting it to these cases may simply be interpretation. So, then what are we really looking at? A meaningless coincidence? Or something that only looks random? This is where the theory expands. These cases don't happen in just one city. They appear across multiple states. New York, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Pennsylvania. So the question becomes, could one person really be responsible for all of this? The distance, the timing, the risk, it doesn't easily add up. And that leads to another possibility. What if it's not one person? What if it's multiple individuals, a group operating in a similar way? Some have suggested the existence of a network, but there is no confirmed evidence, no official proof. Still, the idea continues to surface because the pattern feels too wide to ignore. So, is this just coincidence or something more? Now, the most grounded perspective. The FBI has publicly rejected this theory. Their position is clear. Most of these cases are accidents, alcohol, nighttime, and unfamiliar surroundings. When these combine, people can lose direction, lose balance, and lose judgment. Even a familiar path can feel unfamiliar. Even a short distance can feel far. And in that moment, one mistake can be enough. That's the explanation. But is it enough? Does it explain every case, every night, every disappearance? Or are we accepting the simplest answer because it's easier to believe? So then what are we really seeing? And yet, this story doesn't end. Similar cases continue to be reported. A night out, a moment alone, a disappearance, a body found days later. The pattern doesn't change. Some cases may be accidents, but are they all? Every single one? Or is there something we fail to notice again and again? A moment no one sees, a gap no one remembers. And if something is happening in that gap, how would we even know? And right now, somewhere someone could be walking through that same night. Rivers hide things. They carry them away, erase them, and leave nothing behind. And sometimes the truth disappears with them. That smiling face, is it just a joke or a signal left by someone? A friend disappears after a night out. Can we really say it was just a mistake? What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Was it an accident or something else? This story ends here. But in the darkness, stories remain. Will you stay for the next one? Dark Case Hub.